Hello, everyone. I am Victoria Bularda, founder of the Woman of Success, and I'm glad to be here with Gabriela Covaci and to talk today about success. Success with Gabriela Covaci, from chemical engineer to educator, advocate for human rights, manager, and so on, I can say. But I would let Gabriela to introduce herself. I only know, it's the only things I will discover. I will tell you she holds a BA as a chemical engineer. She holds a master in education at the Central University, Michigan, as well as MBA at the Open University. She is a very, very busy person. So developing her career. And as I said, doing many other activities, which I'll let her to develop to you, to discover to you. Can you tell us, Gabriela, in few words, who Gabriela Covaci is?
It's complicated. First, I'm a human, like any one of us. I put a little bit more pressure on me because I love helping people, and usually I put myself on the second spot in life. Always, I put someone else first. And in terms of career, I know success, it's the word which actually people love to hear, but success really depends on each person. Some people define success finding their hobby and developing their business. Some people define success by finding a fulfilling career, which you retire from. In my case, success is more like whatever fulfill myself and whatever I feel that I can make a difference in someone's life. I started as a chemist engineer because I was born and raised in a communist country and was kind of a pattern what a woman can do and could not do. Science definitely was not, like really close to women in general. They are kind of more men directed. Chemistry was a little bit closer. Um, the year I was in my taking my completing my Bachelor of Science and taking my license as an engineer, the revolution hit. And I was thinking that it's time for a change. And this is how I started my career in corporate work, which was a completely different path, was a completely different strategy in terms of employment. I was during that time a single mom with a small kid, and I think was a totally interesting challenge for me. I love to be challenged, I would say. Shortly after, I started working in American company, corporate. I was with one corporate for, I don't want to say the name of that company. I was for a few years with that company that I learned a lot and did develop me as a person a lot. I started my MBA. I was lucky that on my third year, they opened a subsidiary in the capital of Romania, and they asked me if I want to take some courses to teach, and I was part of that. I left one American company to go to a second one. Was really nice during that time. Was as well the opportunities, I would say, because was easy. For the one who started with American companies, the headhunter are kind of focusing on you. You are on their database. The database was really small. You are younger, you know to speak, different languages, and people are like headhunters are always, hunting you and asking you if you want to go with a different one. I went with a second one, and on my 6 or 7 year with the second company, we finally immigrated after waiting for 7 years to come to Canada. And again, I was taking as an opportunity. I came pregnant here in Canada with my second boy. And I was like, okay, I'll try, see what's happening. If not, I'll go back. I was happy that was my decision, fully my decision, supported by my husband. And here I am. And obvious, I started again.
For the last years, you are working at Mohawk College, correct? Like I think this year will be 10 anniversary of your
Yeah,
work.
close to 10 anniversary. Yeah, soon to be 10. Yeah.
So thank you for revealing all this information. What is success for you? Already you answered in a way, like it's what fulfill you, and I'm totally agree with this, but I cannot reinforce the fact we try with our community to change a little bit this idea of success means only money. Because yeah, the money are good, but doesn't mean everything. Can you develop a little bit that what means for you, like fulfilling? Give us an example.
Yeah, for me, definitely in the Maslow pyramid, money are really like bottom. For me, it's really important the organization I'm with. Uh, okay, let's go back. It's really important the team I'm working with first, because we tend to spend a lot of time at work, and including commuting and all this stuff. Like, I think it's important for me when, and either if we are trying so hard to let this like brain go and say, okay, I'm done work, now I'm focusing on something else, is not so easy, especially not for us, because we do a lot of outreach and we are continuously in the community. We have meetings, we are really involved in industry and whatever is happening in the labor market. And it's not easy to kind of detach completely. Therefore, team is the most important for me. Secondly, definitely the company I'm working with, the organization I'm working with, is not always about, like progressing or becoming whatever, changing, positions or growing in the company. For some people, growing, it's getting, like higher and higher and higher positions. For me, is learning every day something new. Always, I'm joking when I'm speaking with my clients and I'm doing workshops. I used to joke and I say, if someone ever invented a full-time student job, I'll be the first one who apply for, because I keep going to school, and I went to school, because I love being in class, I love being a student. And because I love to learn, I love every time to learn something new. I'm not that I'm getting bored, but I feel that I'm kind of, at a plateau where is nothing I can put back on that company, and this really bothered me.
Mhm. I understand. This explain why you are so active and busy all the time, if I can say.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely the pandemic hits me a lot.
Gabriela, what was the best advice you received, and what helped you to be the educator, the trainer, the advocate for human rights you are today?
um, Again, I think I'm a really strong personality. I have a really strong personality, and I think that helps me. I try to find ways to kind of find the solutions. It's not easy, not always. It's easy. I'm not jumping on, like, first, kind of. I look to all the whatever it's like. I'm looking to the big picture always. It's hard again to see, because it's more, sometimes opportunities are coming one after another.
Mhm.
And but the important part is, like, to have the ability to see them, because a lot of people don't see them. They are, sitting on their chair at work, and they start bitching and complaining, but they don't see the opportunities that are exist. I did a really, actually, I would say, a cool exercise, like you are saying, I can stay still. And during pandemic, I was like, okay, I will do something. I have to do something. I did a lot of stuff in this year, but not as much as I used to. And I did a really cool exercise, and I start actually writing about this. I don't know if it's a lot to write on. It's about career and how you can, in a really complicated life like we have been during COVID, how you can shift your career from what you are doing on completely something else just because you have the ability to recreate and recreate and recreate your resume.
Mhm.
And again, I think it's my positive attitude. A lot of people are asking me how you can do all of this. I'm not, I have to admit that I'm not really, spending too much time in the kitchen or doing chores like a lot of other women do. But I'm still feeding my family, taking care of them and do all the, I don't have someone in the house who helps me, but still I'm able to do a lot of stuff. Fair enough, I'm sleeping really, like, my average sleep per night is like between 5 to 6 hours.
Mhm. So, who, how, or what help you to make the decision to develop your career in education?
Uh, that was one of my tutor. Some people actually shape, like, I think everywhere is like from the school, from the kindergarten.
Mhm.
You have a teacher who shape your career, or you have, like, it's this is why I really want to be someone who help people to decide on their career or what to do with in general with their life. But someone in, as I mentioned, when I started my MBA, someone was kind of seeing in me the abilities to um, transfer the information, because a teacher, we had many teachers, especially in universities. The lecturer, we had tons of
Mhm.
teachers who were really, really, really smart, but unfortunately they were unable to transfer the information from their brain to our brain. And this guy was amazing. Actually, he went to US for a few years, and he came back after, was kind of more a work contract and was not an immigration purpose. And when he came back, he got a job with Oxford University, and this is how he started working. I have been his student. Funny enough, with Mohawk, when I started teaching, was almost the same story. Like, one of the teacher who was retiring contacted me and said, like, I saw you how you're doing presentation in the front of the classroom, because it was part of our
Of
course,
the course.
and I saw you how you transfer the information to the students. What do you think if you are like, I'm retiring and I want you to apply for this, and I'll be your recommendation. Like, stuff like this, especially in Canada, happens a lot. People are kind of misinterpreting, I will say this, because a lot of them think that it's most important that who you know than who you are. No, it's most important how you develop all these relationships. This is the
Mhm.
most important part. And obvious, people who likes you, who knows you, are more open and willing to give you the opportunity that to give to someone else they don't know who they are or how they will perform in front of the classroom or in a team.
Mhm. Thank you. So actually, it's building trust through developing relationship. In other words, yeah, doesn't mean matter is digital or face to face, but takes time. It's not like boom.
Mhm.
So, what do you consider to be the most difficult career challenge you have had since you decided to become a career specialist and to help your clients to develop their desired career?
Um, it's, I don't know, challenges every day. And every month I have challenges, because sometimes in our job is more like creating rapport. Like, if
Mhm.
that client doesn't if you do not create a rapport with the client and client did not create a rapport with you, sometimes you need to have this ability to say, you know what, I don't think it's something is not working. Okay. Yes, I did tell to my clients this stuff like upfront, and I say, tell me exactly what bothers you about me, like what it's yeah, I had clients who said, like, I don't like to have an accent. And I'm like, this is who I am. Like, if you don't like to have, for me, having an accent, I can find, one counselor who is native Canadian, and I'm more than happy to transfer you to that person. I had clients who said, I don't want to deal with a woman. I had
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I don't have any, like, because it's not like selling a product here. Like, if you're not able to build that trust and you feel that, you are kind of hitting the wall over and over, is not, you cannot, be successful. And for us, always, it's the most important part is the outcome. What's the
Mhm.
outcome? How we can, work with that client to reach his outcome. And the outcome always, it's either education or um, getting, employment.
Yeah.
For both, you need trust. You need the client to trust your abilities, that you are guiding them correctly in their career, and you need that client to be open. Because the only thing a career consultant cannot do is to find, like, to be the the client. Okay, like, you need, they need to know what they want to be when they'll grow up. Like, you cannot say, oh, I'm looking to you and I'm thinking that you'll be best doing this. No, we do a different tests. Definitely, we ask clients to take different, tests in terms of discovering skills and abilities and what are the best matches in terms of employment. But it's like in or education, but it's like in a relationship. You have to try to know that if it's working or not. And this is something that, like, I think these were the main challenges for me. But
Mhm.
I was like, I never took anything personal. And always I'm harder on newcomers. And all my colleagues are saying that I'm lucky that I'm a newcomer, because every time I can say, oh, I know, I have been there, I did that, you can do it, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So actually, you are looking not having challenges because your goal is to see the client progressing, something like that, no?
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely,
Uh,
yeah.
so, what, because you mentioned the newcomers, what would you do differently if you will arrive in Canada in 2021?
I don't know if I would change anything, to be honest with you, Victoria. I
Maybe
don't
to
regret
choose
any.
another career?
No, I don't regret any step. I remember I applied first time for a job, and I had a phone interview. And actually, I wrote in one of my book about this story because it still bothers me. Because I went to a career counselor who, I remember like today, was we went together, me and my husband, and I was pregnant in 7 months, which was really visible. And she looked at me and she was like, no, you are not, you don't need to go to work because you'll deliver and you need to stay home. You need to be a stay-at-home mom. And I don't have this concept because in my country we don't
So
have stay-at-home moms. And
exactly.
I was looking to her. Obvious, I was shy to ask what stay-at-home mom job is. I want to know. And I went home and I started applying, and I was invited for the interview. The initial interview was the phone interview, and the second interview was face to face. And they were shocked, obvious, when they saw me. Again, I gained a lot of weight during my second pregnancy, and I was kind of like a balloon. And I'm like, yeah, but I wanna come. I wanna get a job when I'm done. And they were like, you want to come to work? Like, you stay home and raise your baby. And I'm like, no. I think they were thinking that I'm crazy. But this, like with my first kid, I deliver on a Friday, and on Monday I had an exam, and I went and took my exam, and I failed. It was my first and the only one exam in 6 years, which I did fail. And I was challenging the teacher assistant, and I went to him and I said, why he failed me, because I did really well. We all our exams are half part writing in the morning, and after you are going, we have a break, 2 hour breaks, and afternoon you are going pick a topic and go 10 minutes in the bench and come back and support your topic. And I was thinking that I did really well. And the guy looked at me and he was like, he failed you because you didn't attend one single classroom during the entire semester. And I'm like,
Wow.
I was here every week, but I was pregnant. And he looked at me and he was like, and you deliver on Friday and you are here on Monday? And I'm like, yeah, because I have to wait another year for to be allowed to take the exam again. And I didn't want to do that. And he went back, spoke with the teacher, and I still have my student card with all the marks on. And he cut the mark and put a sign and put a different mark, and he passed me, which is, again, this is like kind of who I am.
Yeah, and speaking about that, that was the moment actually when you decided to be an advocate for the women's rights, like seeing all these differences between um, your country and here, or what exactly made you to pursue that?
Initially, everything started with a relationship between. Actually, I started being a kids advocate before women advocate, because I was taking some. I started teaching weekends for languages for children born and raised in Canada, and I realized that it's a huge discrepancy between what parents are thinking about Canadian education and what the Canadian education is in fact.
Mhm.
A lot of newcomers are thinking that education here is not as good as in their country, which is completely incorrect,
Right.
because it's like comparing apple with pears. Okay, you cannot compare, because they are two completely different ways of developing curriculum and delivering the information to the students and stuff like that. And I start advocating for the children. I start, teaching parents, like why it's important, to see the education as it is in Canada, and do not compare the education we have been taking in our home countries. And from there, I realized, obvious, the stronger advocate for a kid, it's a mom in general. There are
Mhm.
some exceptions. And I realized that mother usually were the one who were like between the kid and the dad, and advocating for the kid. And I start kind of, obvious, from there. Unfortunately, I would say, but fortunately, I was able to help. I realized that due to the same cultural issues, people are staying in a relationship either if they don't want to stay in a relationship because they were scared, they depend on the husband's salary and stuff like that. And this is where kind of I shifted, and I say, no, you can do this. You have to, like, you have a language barrier. Whenever your kid is at school, take languages, don't, like, you'll have, but I don't have time to do the course from the house. No, you do have time if you are. And this is how everything started.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And I know, actually, in a way, you use your MBA, starting the Roca Teach Canada, and today that is art for people, correct? So
Yeah,
that.
we again, we started with Roca Teach being the education part.
Education. Yeah.
Yes, this is how everything started, because we want to, again, we want to use the opportunity that the government of Canada was offering to us. And from there, I was lucky that year after year, I was just growing so big, having so many women around me and helping me with different ideas and developing different programs. And we did a lot, and we are still doing. A few years ago, actually, when Canada turned 100 and Romania turned 150, that was the moment when we shifted the Rocatesh to Arts for People. Emilia came with this idea, and I really enjoyed the idea. And we realized that actually what defines us are it's our culture. It's who
Mm-hmm.
we are, and I think it's nice to embrace this. And uh, either if you are doing kind of a volunteer stuff, or if you are doing supporting someone, it's nice to support uh, other communities,
Communities.
but it's important to be who you are.
To keep the identity. Yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, and to teach the children this, to be proud of in a way, because it's a plus. It
Yeah, actually,
doesn't matter
the
where
idea,
they go.
yes, the idea was to when we shifted the name, the idea was to for us to focus more on sharing our culture and our tradition to the Canadian community. And kind of we kind of learn from them. Now it's will be our part to kind of give back to them, and show them our traditions and our culture.
Mhm. So,
And a lot of events have been kind of developed for the Canadian
the Canadian,
community.
yeah. So I hope the people who are listening this interview will understand why you are so busy, because you are talking about so many pieces, which makes you complete, and you try all the time to find something to do more, or to discover a new path or something new. So talking about being busy, what do you think about how you balance the personal life with the professional life, with all these activities you are doing, Gabriela?
Um, Now sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not. I'm so organized. I'm really organized. Like my morning. I'm not a morning person, and this is why I cannot just jump from the bed or from the shower straight to the job I'm doing. I need kind of my time to chill and drink coffee, and at the second coffee I can start to kind of go. And this is why, like, when I was working during the time when I was driving, I didn't listen to radio or stuff like that. I was just kind of trying to remember what I have to do today, what every and I'm still doing this in the morning when I'm drinking my coffee right now. Every night before I go to bed, I'm looking to what's for tomorrow. I have two to-do lists. It's one list that kind of can wait, which I kind of cross over, and one list that doesn't have to wait because it's so important. I have to do. I have deadlines. I have stuff to do. I live with an app that combine all my calendars together, and that app is telling me 1 hour before and 15 minutes before what I have to do. And I learned to say no, which was not an easy.
Easy.
Actually, yes, that was not an easy part. That was really hard for me to say no.
So actually, you prioritize a lot, you can say that.
Yes, I do
Yeah,
prioritize.
yeah. So thank you very much for your kindness to share from your own experience. And please, at the end, send a message to those who are thinking to become a career development professional. What they should do to be successful.
Uh, I I don't really want to kind of focus on this. I think my message will be for any career in general. I think it's really important to understand a few things in a career. First, you have to understand that the knowledge you have, no one can take that from you. Okay, like no one can come open your a surgeon could, but will not take the knowledge, will take your brain eventually. No one can take that information from you. And if you know what you're doing, if you do believe in what you wanted to become, is not complicated. You have the only thing complicated is to find a path. This is the more important in a career because it's and if we are changing countries, it's not more complicated, just you need to align with the norms of that country. And I'm giving you an example going back to your question about career consultant. In my country, the training and development part was part of the HR,
Mhm.
was the HR function, which in Canada is not, is more marketing, sales, communication. When I came, I realized that this is not what I want to do because I don't want to do HR. I don't see myself writing contracts and making payroll payments and stuff like that, or like focusing on health and safety, or like was not me. And I start learning the importance of having the knowledge about the industry. And in the training, because I was coming from training and development, and in the training path there are different areas you can focus. And you can go corporate, you can go
Yeah.
education, you can go government programs, like tons of stuff that again I didn't have back home. And you have to learn, you have to be accustomed to the market you are in. It's like a new product. Every time you need to consider, especially if you change markets, you need to consider a new product. If you change companies, you need to see yourself in the mirror as a new product that needs to be developed in that company or industry or whoever you are going. And if you know how to sell yourself, if you believe in when you it's a say in our job that it's hard to get a job when you are unemployed, because you have a tendency in an interview to sell yourself less. And I did I like to do experiments, and obvious I'm doing experiments with myself. And I did experience that, and it's true, happened with me. Like when I was employed, was easy to get interviews, like 3 4 per week. When I became unemployed, it was almost impossible for a month, because I think I was selling myself so low that, and I was not confident, I was so desperate in getting a job, which kind of all of these kind of concurrent are kind of answering to your question, I hope.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Gabriela. And should we close, because soon is the March 8th, the International Women Day, like open to challenge? So if you want to address something to the woman who is regarding this, is watching this interview, what you'll address regarding the March 8th?
I think we need to focus on who we are. We need to stop comparing ourselves with anyone else. We are
Mhm.
not mirroring our family. We are not mirroring our kids. We don't need excuses that, oh, I didn't do that because I have to. This is just because we are funneling this to our brain. We need to be successful and to be happy in everything we do. We need to find ways to be happy, and stop again putting ourselves down, because this is the only thing that will kind of stop us to grow and to become who we wanted to become.
Thank you very much, Gabriela, and all the best in everything you are doing now, because I know in each day you are changing and you have many, many projects. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be with you, Victoria, and good luck with the woman of success.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.